Hello, folks. Before we get started today, you need a moment of silence for my facial hair. How you guys doing? I'm Sean in Alaska, and I don't have a beard anymore. It's all gone. Holy smokes. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope your week was fantastic, and welcome to this live chat with me. Just want to really quick see if everybody got a decent picture and a decent audio. I'm watching the chat over there to see how everything's coming across. Gil with a dang. You must have seen the picture. Either that or he's all, man, that guy is ugly. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm looking at the comments here popping up real quick. Apparently everything's coming through good. Awesome. That's great. All right, I'm going to scroll back here to the top. There's Karen. Everybody kept saying hi to Karen, and I couldn't see any comments that Karen had made. So I'm like, where the heck is Karen at? All right, let me scroll back up to the top. Here's how I do this, generally speaking, folks. I like to say hello to everybody. I like to answer everybody's question. If I miss your question or if I miss saying hello to you, say hello to me again and leave your question in there again. I do not intentionally miss any questions at all. If I have already answered your question, I'll usually just say, oh, yeah, I see your question. I think I just answered that. And if you want more for it, just let me know. I'm on for an hour live. Generally, we kill it right at an hour. And if you leave a question in all capital letters, it pops out to me a lot easier so that I can see what's going on with it. Beautiful day in Alaska today. It's like 40 degrees now, Fahrenheit. Yesterday we hit 43. And the sun is shining and it is beautiful outside. And I didn't do my corned beef here at the house on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So it's in a pot back on the stove right now. That big blue pot right over my shoulder there. It's got my corned beef in it. Let's jump up here all the way to the top. JD from SC. Awesome, my friend. Glad to see you. Glad you could make it. Richard Young from Hudson Valley, New York. Thank you for joining, my friend. Awesome to have you here. Charles and Annalyn all the way from the Philippines. Good to have you guys as always. Destiny, thanks for joining me today. Sunshine, how are you? From Kenai, Alaska, or the Kenai area of Alaska. So basically my neighbor from about 25 miles away. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. I think that's super, super cool. You had rain and a brownout for 4 hours yesterday. Wow, crazy. It was a struggle to get this live started today. I had to reboot my phone. I had to do a couple of things back here. I saw JD's comment that's coming up about tell Brother Will to go ahead and wake Sean up because he's late for his live. So hopefully everything will go good for this one, and I won't lose this signal during it. Foggy Mountain Man, awesome to see you, my friend. Glad you could make it. Gil at Camp Patton Family Compound. Gil, that was pretty awesome this morning when you went live showing the blizzard in Idaho. And while Gil was live during a blizzard in Idaho at 31 degrees Fahrenheit, it was clear skies, beautiful up here in Alaska, and 34 degrees. So we're at that time of the year where I can actually laugh at some of the other states for temperatures. Woolly Rhino Adventures, Jim, glad you can make it, my friend. Awesome to see you. Yes, happy first day of spring. First full day. I guess spring happened yesterday, but today's the first full day of spring. There's Karen again. Glad to see you, Karen. Yeah, I kept seeing everybody say hi to Karen, and I didn't see your original comment, and I thought, uh-oh, why can't I see what Karen's got to say? Camp Bill Off Grid, good to see you. Thanks for joining me today. Thank you for that, Karen. Yeah, if you guys hit the thumbs up button, it just tells YouTube that maybe this is interesting enough to suggest to other people, and it gets more attention towards the channel. I greatly appreciate that. Arthur Fiala, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Gil, Camp Bill. Mike at Not So Remote, how you doing, brother? You guys got to be getting a little bit warmer up there too, huh? You pretty excited for spring? I know I am. Holy smokes, I'm excited for spring. I just basically scroll through right now, just saying hello to everybody, seeing what everybody's doing. Rich Wells, blessings and shalom from Funny River, Alaska. Glad to see you from Wasilla. Rokamatana, nice to have you here. Awesome to see you. This is cool. This is one of my favorite parts of starting the live is walking through and saying hello to everybody. I think it's super, super neat to do. Dave at Twilight Life Cabin. Awesome to have you here, Dave. Joe Montano. Glad you can make it, my friend. Awesome. Good. 5x5. Very cool. Built on the Rock Homestead. Glad you could get there. You just sold 3 goats doing a happy dance. Very nice. Very nice. I'll give you guys some information here, too. As soon as I'm done saying hello to everybody on that same kind of vein right there. Tanks Travels. Welcome. Glad you could make it. Awesome to have you here. Look younger, right? I know. It's crazy. And that's part of what drives me to shave the beard off. Don't get me wrong. I love growing the beard, and I love it when I can get it growing real long. This year I didn't let it grow as long as normal because I started it a little later in the season, but it's so white. I mean, it just gets it's so gray now. It's crazy. So the temperatures were coming up. My face was starting to itch like it does every spring. And I love shaving it off because then I go, wow, I'm not as old, or I don't look as old as I really am. Jay and Jan, woot woot. You're a fan of Sean in Alaska. Where can you find him? I guess that's fair, right, Jay? Because I gave you all kinds of grief when you shaved your beard off. Tis the season, though, right? We're at that time of the year, man, when we want to get everything that will cool us down as much as possible, as opposed to everything that will keep us warm. 44 degrees there, Rich? Wow, you guys are a lot warmer than we are. Nice. I'm going to butcher your name, but I'm going to try and say it anyway. Fafete Aiva? I hope I got that right. Hello, neighbor in Anchorage. If I didn't get that right, I apologize. Um, that is a name I have never seen before. And I do a lot of reading, so that one kind of throws me for a loop. Hope I got it right. Mark Campbell, good to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it. Barefoot in Alaska. Thanks for joining me. It's good to see you. 45 right now for Mike in not so remote Alaska. My wife said you shaved off your six pack. You know, when we get to a certain age, right? Six packs aren't what really motivate us. It's the keg. I haven't been fishing yet. Honestly, I haven't even got my fishing license this year. That's something I'm going to do this week because I have to pick up a new reel for the salmon rod and I have to start getting everything ready for the first run of salmon, which will be in Seward for me this year. I'm going to head over and uh, try my luck again. It was an epic failure last year at snagging reds over in Seward, and you can actually snag reds in Seward. So uh, I have to start getting all that stuff together, but I haven't done any fishing at all yet this year. I don't even have the fishing license yet. That's coming soon, though. I mean, I really have no excuse. I work right next door to Sportsman's Warehouse. So, Bob's Hope, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Hike with Mike, aloha from Florida, the furthest place from Alaska. Unless my cousin shows up from Australia, and then she'll have the record for the furthest on the live chat today. Marcus, good to see you, my friend. Awesome to have you here. Yep, spring has sprung when you shave the beard. Gil's 40 degrees now. Nice. Spent a month in Homer in the summer of '89. Homer's beautiful. I always tell people, because I have a lot of family and friends from years and years of living in the lower 48 that know I'm up here now, and they're always, hey, when we come to Alaska, what do we need to see? I want to go here, I want to go here. And I go, stop. You need to make sure that you get to Homer and see Homer, because the views of Homer are just gorgeous. I mean, Seward's very pretty too, but there's something about Homer that's just magical. Kathy at North Star Prep Center, good to have you here. Awesome you can make it. I hope your weekend is going well, and I hope you had a wonderful week. Beardless looks younger, right? Snow's finally melting like crazy. I agree. Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy it's moving fast. Scotty just popped in. He's got to put a pork butt on. Scotty's a grill master that does incredible food and explains it for people like me to even be able to understand. So if you guys have not checked out Scotty's Backyard Barbecue, by all means do so. Same with North Star Prep Stetter, Kathy. Her Monday talks this time of the year are pretty much everything you need to know about gardening. So if you're new to gardening or you just want to learn more like I do all the time, you got to check out Kathy at North Star Prep Stetter on her lives. I think they're at 3 o'clock Alaska time. Kathy, do me a favor and make sure you let me leave it in the comments here, a link to your channel and what time your lives are on Monday. I never remember because I get off of work and I'm doing something and I always run in to catch them as often as I can. 48 in Northern Ontario from Mark Campbell. Then you on YouTube. bank fishing in Alaska. I don't know what you're talking about there, Rich. I'm missing something there, unless you're talking to somebody else, but it's in capitals. So, and I do fish for other things besides salmon. I do fish for trout and that kind of stuff, but the salmon are just what everybody wants to see. They're so fun. I'm actually thinking of booking a charter, possibly at a Homer, and possibly next weekend to go do some fishing. So I would like to, I would love to get that on video for you guys. I think you guys would enjoy the heck out of that. And I just want the fish for my freezer as well. Scotty's backyard. Scotty's saying hello to everybody. Everybody's saying hello. Charles has always wanted to visit Talkeetna, a neat little town. Very, very cool. I would know how to explain it to you if I was explaining it to you as a California town, but just imagine a cute little hippie town that's all eclectic and everything else. It's neat, but some of the characters from the movie or from the TV series Northern Exposure would most likely be found in Talkeetna. That would be the best example for that. Jeff B., how you doing, my friend? Winter's over in Boston. Winter's almost over here, too. It really is. We might get another snow or two, but it's not going to last. There's no way at this point. Winter has lost the war. Oh, Nutty is what he goes by. Nutty New. Okay, thank you. Good. And I've caught up. Okay, so what I was talking about earlier was when you'd mentioned that you had sold 3 goats and you were pretty excited about that. So you guys know I have chickens. You guys know I raise the chickens for eggs. They're layer hens. They're actually dual purpose birds. So they can be for eggs or they can be for meat. But they're pretty high producing as far as eggs go. And I've been selling the overage of the eggs that I have, and I'm selling them to local people here in town. And as of Friday, when I got off of work, it was the actual first official time that I reached into the envelope, pulled out the money, and bought the feed for the chickens. My problem at this point now is that I don't have enough eggs for all the people that want them. So with that said, I ordered 12 more chickens. I'm not going to get them until May 5th, so their egg production won't be high enough, I don't think, this year to make much of a difference. But I'm about to go from 9 chickens to 21 chickens, and these ones that I ordered are black Australorps, which are also another dual-purpose bird, and they're a pretty heavy-duty egg producer as well. So I have the Rhode Island Reds, and then we're gonna incorporate black Australorps into this batch and see how it goes. Pretty exciting, pretty fun stuff. What was I at here? I got that. You got to come back up then, Mike, right? If you miss Alaska that much, we're just a plane flight away, right? Just a plane flight away from anywhere in the world. Just sold 3 goats. I now have money. Awesome. And that's the other thing that's super, super cool is when I calculate out how much I make off of the chickens for selling their eggs, the chickens are basically free for me now. Other than the initial investment of, building the coop and getting the fencing and stuff like that, they cost me nothing to have, which is super, super cool. And if you ever think that you might want to get started down the road of chickens or any kind of livestock whatsoever for your family, start with chickens because they're super easy to do and they make you money right out the bat. Right out the gate, they'll make you money. And they'll pay for themselves, which to me is awesome. Live live, Campbell. Nice. Winter was over December down here in Florida. That's not fair. Winter doesn't really happen in Florida, does it? Warren, glad you can make it. Awesome. Yeah, Warren and Sunshine actually get my eggs from me. So I didn't have them for them last Friday, but I will have some for you next Friday. This Friday coming up. Cozy Corner Cabin, awesome to have you here. Glad you could be. I've been building a new deck, and yes, costing me an arm and 2 legs. Foggy Mountain Man, at least it's not gas at this point, right? Marcus. The bad part about doing these lives is I'm flying through the chats to try and stay current, because one of the biggest critiques that I get is, and Kathy mentioned it last week, is that I start to talking and then eventually the conversation comes back around to what I was talking about again, but I've missed like 30 comments, and then I have to play catch up. So I'm always behind. So I'm going to try not to be behind this time. You guys tell me if it works. This is cool. I have an incubator full of eggs. Tomorrow is day 10, so you can candle tomorrow to see if anything's developing. I've never done that. My oldest daughter, Brienne, has done that. and she actually hatched chicks of her own this year, which was very, very cool. Hopefully, I would like to get the coop to the point where it's replenishing itself and I'm not having to buy birds for it every year. Last year when I bought my chicks, they were $2.50 each. This year when I bought my chicks, they were $3.50 each. So they've gone up $1. But it's not that expensive. I didn't lose any to anything but predators last year, and this year I'm actually set up for it, so it should be much easier. But yeah, eventually I'd like to have my birds hatching on their own. Without an incubator, though, they're going to have to do it with chickens. Jim Bertrand, my friend, good to see you. Awesome to have you join us today. Still in Baja, Mexico. Nice. Oh, you guys have black Australorps. Cool. Yeah, I was reading up on birds to get, and I was looking at the Rhode Island Reds, which I really, really like. But the top 3 egg-producing dual-purpose birds, black Australorp was number 1, Rhode Island Red was number 2, and I forget what the number 3 one was. But they're a cool-looking chicken, too. They're all black, which is neat. And they lay brown eggs, and that's my thing. I'm into brown eggs, so. And Mike says, "Out all the chickens you've tried, those are your favorites? Awesome, cool. And they look like looks like they dress out like a decent-sized chicken on the meat end as well. Eventually, I wouldn't mind trying meat birds too, but all the animals that I have here on the property, well, at this point, it's only chickens, are here for a reason. They're food. They either produce food or they become food, or they produce food and then become food. I don't have animals that are pets, which is why I went with a dual-purpose bird. And from what I was reading on chickens, basically you've got 100% egg production the first year. The second year you drop to 80%. The third year you drop to like 70%. The fourth year you drop to 60%, and that's about as low as I'll probably let them go. Kathy asks, what do I do with my chickens when I'm gone for days? I'm not gone for days. When I do go on vacation, and I've only gone on vacation once since I've had the chickens, my brother Will comes over and makes sure they stay fed and watered. And his wife comes over too. She likes the chickens. So there's a ton of people out here I could actually ask to watch the birds for me when I'm out of town. But generally, lately, I haven't been going anywhere. I've been staying pretty close to home. This time of year is when I would be in California on vacation with my family. But I'm saving up my vacation time for maybe a trip later in the year, but mainly so that I have extra time when I need it when I'm building the cabin. Destiny, Sean, what are you planning to use between your logs when you're building the cabin? Moss, I'm actually not building a log cabin, Destiny. I'm doing a stick frame cabin. So I'm using 2x6s. I thought about a log cabin. I would love to build a log cabin. I've kind of been teaching myself how to scribe logs. The problem is I don't have big enough trees where I'm at and on my property to be able to do that. Now, I could buy them, but that would pretty much defeat the purpose. I think a log cabin construction thing for me is going to be down the road on a future project. But this one's going to be stick frame, just a regular cabin, regular wood cabin, not a log cabin. What does feed cost for the chickens? 150-pound bag of Alaskan Mills chicken feed, and I use the 20% protein, or I have all through the whole winter. I just bought another bag Friday, and that cost me $29. Yeah, it was $29 for the bag. And that lasts, I want to say 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. But as the snow melts and the chickens can get out and fend for themselves a little bit more, they have a pretty big run. The consumption of the feed goes down, and I'm going to supplement their feed a lot from scraps from our produce department at my grocery store. I just grab a bag every couple of days from them, a big garbage bag full of trimmings and stuff. So that will hopefully go a long way to cutting down the need for the feed. Jay and Jen started to break even with selling eggs at 24 birds. Nice. Very cool. Gary Owen, glad you can make it, my friend. Awesome to see you. Alaska's beautiful. It's wonderful as always and just simply gorgeous. Next Sunday, if the weather's right, I might actually try and set this up outside next to the campfire. We'll see if the weather's got to cooperate. But if it does, we might do a live from outside, which I think would be cool. Because it doesn't make any difference if I do it inside the trailer or outside, streaming off the phone. I can stream off the phone just as well out there. I would just have to make sure that I put a couple of things around the generator so it deadened the noise a bit. Awesome. Thanks, Campbell. I appreciate that. I really do. I hate to hear that, but it sounds to me like that person had a wonderful life, Jess. A wonderful, wonderful life. 100 years old, leaves behind his wife at 101. That is so cool. What kind of things did that person see in their lifetime? I remember talking to my grandmother, and she was 98 when she passed away. But talking to her as we were kids and then growing up, and one day I said to her, "What kind of stuff have you seen in your life? I mean, just incredible, incredible." From basically horses and buggies going down the road in San Francisco, California, with horses and wagons, to a man landing on the moon. What an incredible time in that 100-year span to be alive. Wow. There is lots of sun, and I've started taking the blankets down off all the windows. Um, and then I have one more big blanket to take down over here for the rack that I use to start all my seeds. But I didn't take that down this time because the glare would wipe out the television screen. So yeah, we're over 12 hours of daylight per day right now, which usually happens right around the beginning of spring. It's pretty exciting. The sun doesn't set. It won't be dark at 9 o'clock at night tonight. It'll just be getting dark at probably 9 p.m. Exactly, right? They're the perfect bird. They're the perfect livestock. And they're fun to watch too. If you get bored, you just sit out in the yard and watch what they do. Everybody's sharing links. I like that. Hey, awesome, Lisa K. Glad you could make it. You finally caught alive. And the folks that are in blue and have the little wrench next to their name are moderators, and the channels that they're sharing are all channels that I'm really, really familiar with myself. And moderators, make sure you share your own channel as well. And I love that they do this. It's a suggestion to you guys to go ahead and check out other channels you might be interested in if you're not already following these channels. And if you catch this live stream after it's already aired, so you're catching the replay, I do set up the replay for the live chat, so those links will be active there as well. By all means, check them out. I'm not saying you have to subscribe to any of them, but you probably will find a couple of channels, if you like mine, that you will enjoy watching as well. Camp Bill Off Grid, how much propane did I go through this winter so far? You know, I really need to track that, but I really don't. So let's figure that I go through 3 bottles a week in November, December, January, and February. So for 4 months out of the year, I go through 3 of those bottles a week. So 15 gallons a week of propane, probably about $40 a week, which isn't that bad. I mean, really, when you think about it. So much more than I want to. As I get to this part of the year, 1 bottle will last me probably 5 days. So I'm probably only going through a bottle and a half a week now. And then when we get to the summer, the 2 that I have underneath the front that I use to operate the stove and the refrigerator behind me here, because the refrigerator's propane, those 2 bottles will last about 4 months between the 2 of them. So I won't have to refill anything for that period of time. Marcus is asking, when's the ground breaking for the cabin? As soon as it thaws out. As soon as I can see it and it's soft enough to work. Hopefully mid-April. Hopefully maybe 4 weeks from now, 4 or 5 weeks from now. But soon. It's getting closer and closer every week. I'm pretty darn excited about it. Dave's asking if my chickens are free range. They're not. Well, they are and they aren't. So I never close the door on the coop. They go in and out as much as they want, and that includes when it's 20 below zero outside. But they have a huge area that's fenced in. So when I first got them last year, they were free range. The problem with that is that with the eagles, the falcons, the hawks, and all the other predators, owls, aerial predators that we have, I lost 2. And I'd probably lose them all if I let them free range now. So they are in a covered run area. Speaking of which, I have to do some work on that cover this year. I got to swing by the dumps tomorrow after work and see if I can't pick up some old drift net and run that across the top over the whole thing to get it a little higher and give them some more room and more protection. That's crazy. Your layer pellets cost 12. Yeah, but though it's Alaska and everything's got to be shipped up here. And I mean, even the ingredients, even though they're those pellets are actually processed here in Alaska, the ingredients aren't grown here. You know, they have to ship most of those ingredients up, so it gets expensive to do that. But I don't know what you get for a dozen eggs, but folks around here with fresh chicken, you know, fresh chicken eggs, charge $6 a dozen and get it all day long. I am not that kind of person. I charge $5 for an 18 pack, which has my neighbors who have chickens probably angry at me. But at $5 an 18 pack, it doesn't take me long to sell enough 18 packs. I just have to sell 6 of them to buy a bag of feed, and that's like a week and a half worth. So, you know, it pays for itself still. But yeah, it's pricey up here for that stuff. Kathy's asking, when am I planning on getting meat birds? I thought about getting them this year, but with everything else that's going on, with the cabin, with the start of the garden, I'm not going to have time to do that. So next year will probably be the first time that I do meat birds. I think next year I'll focus a little bit more on my own food production. I'd like to get a couple of hogs, a couple of pigs for, you know, for sausage, for bacon, for salami, you know, different kind of stuff like that, and meat birds. And by then I'll be a little better set up with more frozen storage. I'll have a smokehouse built and all that stuff. So hopefully next year. And I'm going to start easy. I'm going to start with probably just going to start with like one run of 10, and then do another run. And because I've never done it before, so there's that whole window of when they get to the size that they've got to be processed. You got to take care of it right now. So yeah, hopefully next year. Your ducks currently a 10 by 10 kennel. They have been naughty. Tried feeding them purple cabbage today. They were afraid of the cabbage leaves. I threw I cleaned most of my fish at the river, but last summer at one point I cleaned a couple of fillets off of one beautiful sockeye that I caught, and then I threw that carcass into a bag and I brought it home and I threw it in the yard for the chickens. And it was so funny because it took them like 15 or 20 minutes before they'd actually go after it. And then they were all on it. And at the time, I think I had all 11 birds still, and they were going crazy. Well, one chicken, I was watching him grab like the tail of that salmon and jerked its beak back, and the salmon jumped, and every chicken flew in every direction. They freaked out completely. They thought the salmon was still alive. They're fun to watch when they're eating that kind of stuff. What else we got going here? Yeah, Montana's beautiful. Montana's gorgeous. I'm not going to lie. I was working for a company in California, and we had to go up and help a new segment of our company that was opening up in Spokane, Washington. And on one of the days that we had where we didn't have to work, I drove from Spokane to Idaho to Montana, and then we went back, and we were going to go into Canada, but I didn't have my passport at the time, and it was after 9/11. And so I could go into Canada. Canada would have had no problem with it, but I couldn't have got back in the United States without passport. So Montana was gorgeous on that northern part. Oh, just beautiful. John, Alaska, sweet little couple this weekend in their late 80s. They walked everywhere holding hands. But he said they did that to hold each other up. That's nice. That's cute. Gil says, my grandmother, born in 1899, watched the moon landing. She would walk outside and look up at the moon and go back inside and look at her TV over and over, right? Crazy what they saw. Crazy what they saw in that period of time. Just nuts. Rustic by nature, awesome. Glad to have you here. Beautiful day here in Palmer. Just stopped by to say howdy. Awesome to have you here. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous everywhere in Alaska right now, I think. I was watching Alaska Prepper Rudy this morning on his Sunday Live, and he was even talking about, man, it was pretty up there, pretty in Fairbanks as well. We got a good day today in Alaska. Wow, just worked on ships, so military made him help on ships for 3 wars. Asked him again after Desert Storm, but he was in his 60s and refused. That's nuts. Wow. Yeah, just the conflict that they saw too. That 100-year period, that single century of history in the United States is just incredible. Just incredible. Okay, how much is your propane in Alaska? Here in Quebec, it's about $1 a pound. So they sell it by the gallon. They don't sell it by the pound. One of those smaller bottles, well, like the bottle that I have over here under the table is a 5-gallon bottle. and they sell it for $3.59 a gallon. And it actually came down. It was up at like $4.99 for a ridiculous amount of time. Now, if I buy it, that's if I just buy it from the gas station. If I buy it from our local U-Haul distributor, if I get 11 gallons or more, they take 10% off of that. And if I get, I think the next break is over 20 gallons, they give you another break. So I'll eventually, for the cabin, I'll do the big bottles and I'll take them into town and fill them up myself, mainly because if you have them deliver it to your house, there's an added surcharge for delivery, and I don't want to pay more for it than I have to. I'm in town 5 days a week anyway. So right now, $3.59. Sean, your little buddy heater, how's it holding out with so much use? That is the new one. The one that I had before earlier in the winter took a dump on me, but that was after about 3 years worth of use. I still have that one because I'm going to try and clean it and see if I can't find out why it's not working. But I bought a bigger one, one the next size up from this little buddy, but still with a single burner, not the double burner version. But I only use that one when it's really, really cold. This one I only run now maybe half the day. Once we get close to 35, 36 degrees outside, I turn it off for most of the rest of the afternoon. That, and I'm cooking today, so obviously when I've got something going on the stove all afternoon, it brings the temperature up inside. It's holding out great. I love the Buddy heater. I think that as far as bang for your buck goes, if you're looking for a heater, Buddy heaters, Buddy propane heaters are the best for your money. They're just awesome. Charles and Annalyn, what are lumber prices like now? Up here, they've gone up again. But they're not as high as they were last year. With that said, at this point, it doesn't matter. I need to buy lumber, so I'm buying lumber. I don't think it's going to get cheaper. I think that we've probably hit a new average price for a lot of goods in the United States, and I don't expect to see them come down again. Rich, I am familiar with the chicken truck. My biggest problem with the chicken truck is I don't have any open flat space that I can move one around with. So maybe eventually, once I clear some more property or more area on the property here, but right now it really wouldn't work. I love them though. I think they're cool. I watch another family, the Macs, and they're a homestead family down in, I believe, Mississippi. Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know who I'm talking about. And they use chicken tractors all the time, and I think that's just the coolest thing. Those folks, and then Countryside Acres also uses them. I just think they're super neat. And Visa, how are you? Yeah, right. It was time. My mom said she missed my smiling face, and I thought she meant that she wanted me to shave, and she said, "No, Sean. I meant, you'd come down and see me on vacation." I said, "I can't do that right now, Mom." Mike saying, "I got so much halibut on my trip to Alaska, and I met a person from your hometown in Florida, ended up going to his house and having amazing halibut for dinner." Awesome. Halibut's delicious. If you make fish and chips at home, and you can, don't waste your time buying cod. Just use halibut. You'll be so much happier. Am I doing footings or a foundation? I'm doing sonotubes, Jeff. So I guess that would be footings, because I'm not going to do the full foundation. It would take too much site work to do an entire foundation. I would actually have to excavate the ground down to the frost line and backfill it all with gravel to get a good foundation. And sonotubes are just a much easier fix for me. Sonotubes were my second choice. And I talked about this when Jeremy and Ashley were here last week from MBF. They use screw piles. We call them heliconial piers up here. They're the ones that you just screw down into the ground. I would love to do that, but the price to get that done here is a little more than I want to spend. I can do the concrete sonotubes for a whole lot less. That, and I can get those things off the ground enough to where when this old man needs to go into the building to work on something, I'm not scooching across the dirt. I'm way too old for that. Wow, Rich, farm fresh eggs are $8 a dozen up there? That's nuts. I can't believe that people charge what they charge for them. Here's Lisa saying the same thing. $5 for 18. That's below market price in Ohio. I actually have one couple that buys them from me every single week, and they get a couple of 18 packs. And worked with their son for years, and I've known them for years. Super nice folks. And she gets mad at me because I'm only charging $5. You need to charge more. You're cheating yourself. And I'm not raising chickens as a business. Now, obviously, with the new stock that I'm buying, it's going to be more business oriented. So I'll probably go up in price, but I don't see myself going above $7 or maybe $7.50 at the most for an 18 pack. I would never spend that much money on eggs. I don't understand why anybody would. Crazy. I can't sell chicken eggs here. Too many folks have chickens and get eggs for free, right? Yeah. And that is probably an issue right where I live here, but I go to town every day and work. So there's a whole other market of people in town that I can deal with on a regular basis. It's been kind of tricky, though, because I manage the dairy at my local grocery store, so I have to sell the eggs in the parking lot. I can't actually take them into the building and have people pick them up for me. That just wouldn't be right. $10 a dozen for duck eggs. I've never used a duck egg in my life. I understand they're fantastic for baking. I have never used one. Jim, Jerry, Canadian, how are you, my friend? Probably. And everybody's saying hi to Jerry. Jerry's saying hi to everybody. Kathy wants to know what I did to celebrate St. Pat's Day. So I posted a picture of it. I don't know if I posted it on the community tab. I know I posted it on my personal Facebook page. My local brewery, the Kenai River Brewing Company, had corned beef, cabbage, carrots, potatoes as a special on St. Patrick's Day for $15. So I thought, well, if I go to the brewery and I have corned beef and cabbage there, I can come home and I can have corned beef and cabbage for like 3 or 4 days at my house. So I did that. And that was all I did. Went there, had a couple of pints with corned beef and cabbage, came home, worked around the property, and didn't do much else. Don't jinx it. I had chicken that was sick. I think it got the people pox. Yeah, that's going to be, Gil, that's my plan for eventual heat for the cabin. Well, actually, for the heat for the cabin will be an in-wall propane heater, one that does not require electricity at all, and that will actually be the backup to the wood stove, so that when I'm at work and the temperature's 20 below zero, the house will still stay at, say, 60 degrees or 55 degrees Fahrenheit before I can get home and pile more wood on the fire. I know, but it was $100 a sheet last year. In May of last year, I paid $100 for a 4x8 sheet of 1/2-inch plywood. So it's come down. Yeah, Jim, as soon as you get up here to Alaska, you can pay what I paid Thursday, $4.79 a gallon. Ouch. Ouch. Patrick, my man, glad you could pop in. Good to see you. Leprechaun was my nickname as a kid growing up. That my dad gave me that nickname. This is the little buddy here is really popular for ice fishing tents or for tents in general. They're super easy to set up. They don't require anything extra. You can either use them with just the independent bottles that you can screw on, or you could use it the way I do with the regular hose attachment onto the 5-gallon bottle. But they're pretty indestructible. Tink, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Yep, the Max. Fun family. Super neat people. You think, Jerry? It's not. It's a little rough. I shaved yesterday. If I didn't shave for like a week, I'd almost have a beard again. Rabbits are something that down the road I might look at as well, because I understand that as far as bang for the buck goes, 2 reasons. Bang for the buck, that you get the meat off of them for a lot less cost than you do most other animals. But even more importantly, rabbit poop can be used instantly as fertilizer. You do not have to let it age like I do chicken poop. So I have to compost and let the chicken poop age for a year before I could use it because it's too hot. But you can use rabbit poop right now. My dad used to say the same thing, Jerry. My dad would say, why grow something on your, or why cultivate something on your face that grows wild on your, exactly. Remy, glad you can make my friend. Awesome to see you here. Do I eat any kind of eggs but chicken and ducks? I've never had duck eggs. The only eggs I've ever had that I know of in my life are chicken eggs. Other than that, I don't think I've ever had any other egg. Oh, Camp Bell, you are awesome. Thank you so much. I love it. That is so cool. Thank you. 2x6x8 treated is 21 bucks a piece. You're building a new deck. So for me to buy the big dimensional lumber for the floor joists underneath, you know, the three main beams underneath, I'm actually going to build those myself out of 2x8s. I'm not going to pay the price for the actual 6x8 joists because that price is just ridiculous. So I'm just going to build them out of 2x8s. And then the subfloor itself, you know, the actual floor joists themselves, those are all going to be 2x8 as well. So hopefully I can get enough of them to get a discount on the price a little bit. But yeah, I can't believe how much big dimensional lumber costs right now. It's crazy. Sean and the Chickens of Alaska. Hey, you know, and Dave at Twilight Life Cabin, you're creating videos now on your own YouTube channel, and you will pick this up. And I know Russell gives all of us, Russell from Raspberry Rock Off Grid, gives all of us grief, creators, when we do something that we shouldn't do, or we're not doing something that we should do. But I saw something that is so true. When you find something that your audience likes, you need to make sure that you give your audience what they want. And man, since I started putting the chickens in videos, people love them. So the chickens are either in almost every video that I do, or you hear them in the background. And I love it. You know, it's not right now. That's what everything seems to be about: moving snow and raising chickens. But it'll be so much more here soon. But heck, I'll go with it. I'll go with it. Oh yeah, beer butter halibut, beer crusties, pancake, Montreal steak seasoning. Yum. Yep, yep, yep. I'm with you, Karen. Brown eggs are my favorite egg to eat, and I know that I have been, everything I read and everything I've been told, the only difference in any egg is the color of the shell. But for some reason, brown eggs always tasted richer to me. They've always been a richer egg to me, and I don't know what it is. It could be, too, that when I buy brown eggs in the grocery store, I've always bought organic brown eggs. So those are the closest thing I can come to what I raise compared to your regular white eggs that you buy. But I just love brown eggs. I've always been a fan of them. Awesome. Thank you very much, Jerry. Much appreciated. Very, very cool. See, Rich, you live in a fifth wheel with a wood stove, and I live in a fifth wheel with a propane heater. Next week's video is going to be a little bit different for me because I had a viewer ask a question. They asked one question about living in a fifth wheel trailer in Alaska, and then they asked, and they were really going down this path with a bunch of great questions. And I never really explained, I think, a lot of what living in a trailer in Alaska entails and the kind of things that you have to do. So next week's video is actually going to focus a great deal on that. Because after doing it for 2 winters in a row now, completely off grid, I think I can speak to the subject pretty well. Yeah, I think from everything I've seen from other family members and, you know, throughout the lower 48 and everything else, I think we might have seen a peak on gas prices for the time being. Hopefully we're not going to go much higher on that, because as gas prices go, so goes everything else, because everything arrives via gas, diesel, one shape or another. Gasoline and diesel control the price on on everything that we use. So I looked at quail as well, but for me it was chickens. And I know quail take up a lot less space. You know, they're another bird that you can eat. They lay prolifically, but I love chickens. I mean, chickens are just, you hear them out in the yard, you see them running around, and you go, I have livestock. And they take care of themselves too. Like I said, they do pretty well. I have to check it out. I haven't checked out their video today. I've been binging all day on MBF because I got behind on Jeremy and Ashley's videos. So all morning this morning, I've been binging on theirs to get caught back up again. I got to get over and check out Jay and Jen's though, for sure. Exactly, right? I mean, the minute it falls out, boom, right into the garden, instant fertilizer, no problems whatsoever. I think that is super, super cool. Right? Exactly, Mike. Okay, so I need, 4x8s. I need 24 footers. I need 3 of them. Kristen Grounds, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Live stream barely, but celebrating your birthday, Kristen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kristen. And I promise not to sing to you again. Happy birthday, Kristen. Right? I mean, it is nice. It is awesome. And when this live is over, I can guarantee you I'll be outside again because it's just so beautiful. Exactly. That's one thing I've noticed about raising chickens at home is when you crack your first egg of the first egg you're going to eat from your own chickens into your frying pan or whatever you're making, you will not believe the difference in color from that egg compared to what you get at a grocery store. It's crazy. South Colorado Stetter, awesome to have you here. Glad you could make it. Ward! And Anthony Jaster, how are you, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Thank you for that, Jeff. It's much appreciated. Thumbs up do help. They do help a channel, that's for sure. Or a thumbs down. If you don't like what you're watching, give it a thumbs down. All YouTube sees is interaction with the channel. It doesn't matter whether it's this or this. It doesn't care. Really? I hope not, Gil. I hope not. But, I mean, what did I see the other day? Something like $1.65 per gallon in California gas prices is taxes alone. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that'll also be the eventual goal. So after the first initial run of the garden here this year, I plan on getting like basically a mesh wire kind of tunnel from their run to the garden, which isn't that far, and letting them have free reign in the garden, tearing everything up and basically scratching everything down for the next season. Basically becoming, feathered rototillers. I am probably one of the few people that will ever tell you this story I'm about to tell you right now. And I'll tell you quickly. When I was a kid, I whistle. I've always whistled because I can whistle like nobody's business, but I always wanted to sing. So I was in grammar school in Petaluma, California, which actually at one point was the chicken capital of the world. And I went to an after-school program for Glee Club to sign up to be able to sing in school. And I'll never forget this. I walked into there and the teacher says, okay, I want you to sing the scale for me. And I go, what's the scale? And the teacher went, do, re, mi, and up and down. And I go, okay. And I got all the way to the top. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And she went, stop. You can't sing. There is no way that you can ever be in a Glee Club. I'm sorry. You can't be part of this. This is as far as I got. And I look back now and I think, man, you say that to a kid at that age and you just devastate him. But because of who I am, my father, who used to tell my brothers and I we were worthless all the time, but we knew we weren't because he used to just say it as a joke. You would devastate somebody today, but it didn't bother me at all. Hasn't stopped me a bit. I'll still sing. I just won't do it in front of anybody. Yeah. I'm starting to see gravel. I'm starting to see gravel on the road in to my place, and I'm starting to see gravel in and around my driveway. Pretty happy about that. Anthony's up in Fairbanks at UAF. Almost done, huh? Congratulations, dude. That is awesome. Come down here this summer, man. We'll go fishing. We'll grab your Uncle Will, and, well, he doesn't fish, but we'll make him drive us. We'll go out and catch some salmon together. I saw that. That was super, super cool that there's a couple of states that have actually gone out and put their state gas taxes on hold to help reduce the price. I think that is the coolest thing you could possibly do. Yep. Livestock in the garden, let it do what it's got to do, churn everything up, because you know what? The bed that I planted my potatoes in this year is not going to be a potato bed next year. That's going to be on the other side of the garden, for the rotation. And just let them tear it up and mix everything up. $1.20 a liter. I don't know what the math is on that. Sean actually said what it was. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 64. So you're probably like maybe $5.50 a gallon, which, I mean, isn't worse than California, right? That's right there. Oh, you graduated from Sonoma State. Very cool. I was born in San Francisco. I grew up in San Jose, but then we started moving north, and I lived in Novato, Petaluma, Santa Rosa at one point. Santa Rosa is beautiful. You want to grow a garden of any kind of produce or vegetable or any kind of tree in the world, live in Santa Rosa. Their soil and their climate is perfect for growing everything. I like that. I sing alone too, mostly in my car. Good thing no one can hear. And now that I don't have to wear the mask at work anymore, because our company finally removed that policy a couple of weeks ago, although I probably was guilty of not following it most of the time anyway, I whistle while I'm at work. And I have customers that walk up to me and will actually say, I can't help but smile when I walk down your aisle and hear you whistle. And I can't help but think that, thank God, they don't hear me sing. Mark, we should come out with a Christmas album together. That would be funny. We'll get Russell and we'll get David, and we'll do, like, all of us will get together and do a Christmas album. That would be so wrong. Oh, right on. An internship in New Hampshire. Very cool. No, go do that, man. By all means, go do that. That is very cool. Alaska will be here when you have time. Most definitely. Man, that's bad. That's sad when you're saying you don't even sing when you're alone. Oh, you hurt your own ears. That's terrible. Richard, I only have 1.5 acres here. Well, 1.48 acres on this property here, and it's kind of narrow and it's long. So I can do an awful lot with that as one person, but believe me, I am looking, and my eyes are always, I'm always looking for the next piece of land. I'm always looking for something bigger that will have much more of the things that I'm looking for in a piece of property. This was, when I bought this property, I bought it because of location, close enough to work, yet far enough away from other people, and the price was super right, and I could do things on this right away. So I never plan on selling this. I think that if I were to buy another piece of land and do another project like this in the future, which I probably will, then this land would be my in-town land, and that land would be my in the middle of nowhere land, if that makes sense to you. And then even eventually this could go to my kids and my grandkids, but I'll be the last owner of this property. You can't even whistle. You don't, right? One of those places where you don't need much land, because there are no rules that say I can't have livestock on my property. I can do whatever I want here. I could fire a gun in my backyard. As long as there's no structure nearby and I'm not firing it towards a structure, I could fire a firearm in my backyard. I wouldn't, because I don't think that's safe, unless you're designed to do it. And I have tons of forests that I can go out and do that in and never put anybody in jeopardy. But yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff with your own land in Alaska. Come on, Dave. This would be funny. We could make that thing sell. We could set it up for charity and have Russell promote it. I'm telling you, it would work. Ward, I don't whistle at the office because usually when I'm at the office, I've got a beer on my lips. And the office is Kenai River Brewing Company. Yep, hunting and fishing. We could definitely, you could grow enough produce to last you for a year, for a season. And a great example of that is Simple Living Alaska, because while their property is a great deal bigger than mine, the footprint of their cabin, their garden, and other than the bees, what they're doing, is no bigger than mine whatsoever. Yet they produce a ton of food on that. And then they supplement that food with chickens, right? Because they have chickens, they have eggs, and they do a great deal of fishing and hunting as well. So Alaska is one of those places where you can live a pretty self-sufficient life. Karen, yes, I did. And I'm hoping to see more tomorrow, because tomorrow I am going to the dumps to see about getting the netting, the fish netting, gill nets that they take to the dumps there. They have a special place where they drop them off. And then hopefully get some more pictures of eagles there. But the two that I always see on the road, I saw them yesterday, and I didn't see them today when I came back because I was back too early this morning. Right? So in Alaska, I've been in the fifth wheel for 6 years, and it's the only issue has been frost buildup in the areas that the heat doesn't reach well and doesn't hold the heat well. Exactly. And if you're prepared for that, I mean, I've shown more than once how back here behind the cushions, I'll get a layer of ice built up. If I've got anything laying on the floor, underneath that stuff on the carpet, I'll have a layer of ice built up. Same thing. Right, JD? I'm almost out of here, man. It goes so fast, it's crazy. I would have a wet whistle. Jay and Jen, thank you guys very much. Very much. It's awesome to have you guys stop by, and I love it when you guys go live as well. Built on the Rocks out of here. Everybody's heading out the door. With that said, thank you guys for joining me. I am Sean in Alaska. If you've got any questions and I didn't answer them here, down in the About section of my YouTube page is an email address where you can get in touch with me, or check me out on Facebook. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and welcome to spring. Love to hear how your gardens are going this year. What do you guys have planned to grow? I'm out the door, though. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.